adding a tool, third house tool, to her repertoire, something she can do. Now, the astrologer is going to work right into her, having things to talk about and be appreciated for in her later life. That's valuable because you can work it. And when you leave the job, you can be already isolated and not know anybody. So this is 2006, and it's still retrograde. It goes back. There's the stationary direct. It goes station directed July 25th, 2019, and then it goes back almost immediately. So it's only in Virgo from 2016 till 2021. Then it goes back into Virgo. So like it's in Leo, this just right now while this whole 1 degree is going on. So that 1 degree, the last degree of Leo, is an interesting degree. It's interesting. That's the same degree that Donald Trump's son was going through. We're going to go look at his chart, but his chart went from Leo into Virgo. Just as this is where the fixed star Regulus is too. It's just in this area. So there's it's just a change of start seeing things. Then it's going to go back into Virgo. So it's unusual for it to be, for her, that's fresh territory. All her life it's in Virgo, analytical, fussy, meticulous, analyzing what she wants. And here it's, I got to do something, I got to show something. Maybe she's got to take a trip. Maybe she's got to do something. She's studying astrology. It's something. There's a need for that little flair coming out. And the confidence that would come from that. And having that is turning around how she makes her choices. She'll still be analytical, she'll still be a little fussy about things, but she's going back with these new values and new confidence and going to start applying it. And it's going to come back in 31, 32, it's going to conjunct the Pluto and the Mars again. And then it's going to go forward straight till it gets back to the Venus. If she lives to 2045, so from 59, so she gets into her 80s, it may come back to the starting point, and if she gets beyond that, it's going into beyond where it goes beyond, but it's not till 51. She'd have to get up to 92 for it to get past the point that it went forward for in 1976. Her emotions went up to 1976, then it backed up, then it went forward. So you're seeing a path of a lifetime. It's kind of, can this be so? How solid is this? You have to check it out. But these are very faded things. Progressions, they're there. And it's not going other places. And even though it's not a limitation, because there's so much that can be done within any one of these areas, within any degree, it still has a limitation, but it's still directing how your choices are going to be made. So it's never going to quite get down to where I see in this lifetime. So now that her Venus is in Leo, and she's still got another 2 or 3 years of it, if she's got things glorious to do, if she wants to go someplace or do something, she's got to have fun. She wants to have, girls just want to have fun. She wants to have fun for these couple of years. She probably worked Virgo, or the Venus in Virgo, and been very fussy in particular all her life. And now this is the time to be a little more showy and to do some, and put some more glorious things on the line. That would be the Leo progression. Sometimes it can happen with a grandkid coming in, suddenly there's a grandkid or something. It can happen so many, grandkids can come in all different ways. But I'm just trying to imagine you see the Leo effect on the Venus. Okay. Seven. Oh my goodness, we're already late. Okay, so this is going to be another long one. Everybody's got their own special story. That's just the way it goes. Okay, this one, October 4th, 55, Toronto. Okay, so here's someone, Venus starts in Libra, Lilith Libra, Sun in Libra, Venus in Libra, Aries rising, Moon in Taurus, so really Venus person. And it goes straight her whole life. Doesn't go retrograde, goes straight up to the midheaven, through the 10th and the 11th house, across. There's 100 years, straightforward. So her things, it doesn't mean she doesn't have her challenges. It's going to hit the aspects, it's going to have conjunctions, squares, it's going to hit all of, and that, since it's going more than 90 degrees, it's going to make a conjunction or square or opposition to every planet in the chart. it technically goes across two angles. It goes across the descendant early in life, then it goes across, it builds up to the midheaven in 2020. But her desires and her wants are building up to status, to career, to achievement, to being more functional in the world, in her way, to set up her ways more and more until it gets up there. So, okay, so we're just going to go along. Let's see, let's get a closer look at this. And so since it doesn't go the rest of it, the turning points in the signs will be most notable, stand out most when it goes across the ascendant. It descended in 1957, so she's born in 55. That's just two, something big change around relationships between parents at 2 years old. Then by 61, when she's 6 years old, it hit Neptune and Mercury. So there was some other significant confusion going on at that point. Then by 65, it hit the Venus, it squared Uranus. So there was some shake up by 65. Then she's only 10 years old. These are all things happening in the family that she grew up in. Then it goes along, it's going through the 7th house. 78, conjunct Saturn. So I know, and then in 82, where's the conjunct Saturn? Then it opposed the moon and squared Jupiter. Okay, so I'm not sure. This is 7th house. I know the 78, yeah, so she's probably married in this point. She's having her kids, and not exactly. She's in it, but it's a mixed bag of what she wanted, what she didn't want. So, okay, so then it goes along in 86. It squares Pluto, and she's certainly disenchanted. She's not getting what she wants, and it changes from her 7th house of marriage to the 8th house of trust and business and sharing and kids and responsibilities, and that's more complicated. So it probably got her out of the house to working more and doing career work more. It's in that 8th house straight through, no difficult aspects, goes in Sag and right up to 2003. Then goes along in 2007. I just follow it through. Let's just, by 2007, it squares Mars. So Venus squaring Mars, there's a bit of a fight or a struggle to do things with it. It's a struggle, but there's a tendency to push a little harder to get what you want, to have to push a little harder for what you want. And that's 2007, 2000, and now here's the place where if you want to check out the nodes, you can see 2003 conjuncted nodes. You could see what happened when it hit the nodes. It went into the 9th house. Well, 2011, so in 2011, it went into Capricorn. That was 2011. And then it built up to a career in 2020, to the midheaven in 2020. Well, I met her somewhere in here. She studied astrology. It's in the 9th house. She studies astrology. And she knows it and is going over it again. So she's working on it a bit more. But she always wanted to get living in Canada, she always wanted to be down in the States. She always loved Sedona, and she finally bought a place down there. She was working over this time to get that place. And so she's a very accomplished person working, and she managed to do that. And it's 9th house, right? So she's there half the year and half the year back and forth. But she has two worlds. She has her, this is their Venus going through her. I can't remember where the sun is, but it builds up to 2020. So she's making good money. She's not going to stop. Really, even in the 10th house, probably it's not likely for her to stop. She's got a lifestyle that's going on, and she's going to want to keep doing it. And she's going to be practical with the Capricorn on the Venus to make things happen, to keep it going. Okay. Where are we here? Now we got someone out of place. That's right. I got one out of place here. I don't know what that is. Okay, so 9. Okay, sample 9. No, we were at 8. We're at 7. I should be looking at 8. Okay, let's just see where it is. missing one? Yes, I'm missing a chart. Okay, so let's get the chart. Sorry, just pick up the chart. And let's take a minute. Buried in my files. And insurance. This here. Sample 8 for some reason. I must have done it later than okay. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's sample 8. I'll just put it on top of here for now. Yeah. Okay. And now back to where we were. Okay, 8. The chart. Now we got the printout. Okay. This is the last of the planets that moves a lot. From here on, we go to Mars, Jupiter, so they don't move so much. They're not as vast. Change, but thank goodness, we still have a lot of changes that we go through in our Venus. They go slow enough. They're deep enough. They're intense enough. But this is how we go through. So this is February 17th, 1979, Lahore. And Venus starts in Capricorn, the 4th house, and goes straight forward the whole life, no retrograde. Doesn't have the stopper, so it's just moving steadily, progressively around from the 4th house across. Now the Venus starts with a square to Pluto, so there's a harsh Venus, a tendency of not feeling loved or fear of love, or harshness of not having what one wants. In Capricorn, when I need to feel like I gotta work for it, I gotta make this, but the Venus, a good part of life, it's all below the horizon, and then it goes up through the 7th, 8th house. It's the Venus. It's all on the setting side of the chart, what's happening and how to meet, who you meet and what's coming in. So it starts in Capricorn. Let's go along. The first aspect it's going to make is it's Venus at 13, Pluto's at 19. So it has a square, but because it's progressing, it progresses into the aspect. So the aspect gets more and more intense until 83 when it gets exact, when it squared Pluto. So 1983 is only 4 years old. So this, at 4 years old, something very harsh would have happened. With it, it's got to be in the family or things around the family, and but there was a harshness going on there, and it would have caused enough struggles that he would feel not being loved or not wanted. Maybe another kid was born, or something, and the kid was getting all the attention. It's hard to say, but then, whoops, sorry. 7, oops, right. Yeah, so we got it here, and that's what happened. Okay, so then it's going to go along, and it's in the 4th house. In 1993, it changed into Aquarius. So when you don't have it retrograde, you make special note of when it changes the signs. So 1993 it goes into Aquarius. 2018 it went into Pisces. 2043 it goes into Aries, and 2068 goes into Taurus. So this is the sequence of the values that choices being made. But just before 2018, before it goes into that 6th house, it went over the sun. Well, it went over to Mars and the sun, so it goes over it. And if I'm not mistaken, this person was Venus in Capricorn. He was or is a musician, and has a couple different hats. I think he had a band and was working with a musician. And in this time period with the Venus going through the 5th house and up through the Mars, I think he was traveling internationally and stuff. And I believe I met him probably around this, just after it conjuncted over his sun. This conjuncted over his sun